right, welcome back to the show. Coach, trip to Boulder, Colorado, one of the newest members of the Pac-12 Conference along with Utah, the Colorado Buffaloes. And John Embry, the head football coach, is working to try to get some things going. It's been a tough start for them so far, but at home, at Folsom Field, they're pretty darn good.
They are. They played Cal, and it was an overtime game, and then they lost in the last seconds to Washington State there. So the one thing when you watch them on tape is John's got those guys playing hard, and they have a lot of injuries and they have a lot of attrition, and sometimes happens when a first-year coach takes over, and some of the other guys that fit in the old coach's scheme, and players leave and whatnot. But the players that are playing for him right now play extremely hard, and that's the thing that jumps out at you on tape is how hard his players play, and that's the mark of a good coach.
Well, the team and somewhat the offense all revolves around Tyler Hansen, the quarterback, and over 1,700 yards passing. He's got 13 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions so far this year, but everything revolves around him and what he does.
Played a lot of football for him, and is smart, heady, understands their offense very, very well, and is really what drives them, and it's all kind of revolves around him. I'm not sure if the running back will play, and their best receiver, Paul Richardson, has been out for 2 games, and I don't know if it'll be 3, but everything starts with Tyler Hansen, and that's the guy we really have to defend.
Well, you mentioned it, a couple of tough losses at home, a non-counting game against California went to overtime, but they had Washington State on the ropes before the Cougars scored 2 late touchdowns to beat them, so they can compete with some pretty good quality teams.
They can, and it's a much improved Washington State team that we'll see in a couple of weeks ourselves. So, I think they're a great addition to the league. It really expands the footprint of our conference, but we know we're going to be in for battle. Anytime you go on the road in this league, it's very, very difficult, and the keys to winning championships is being able to win games on the road.
It's kind of it's a different kind of challenge when I look at this. It's a different place that Oregon hasn't played at forever, which is obviously a little bit of curiosity, but you may and they may be out without some key players, and it's a road game. You combine all those things, your team, it's going to be interesting to see how your team reacts.
Yeah, and our guys love the environment. They love going on the road. They love that kind of atmosphere of us against the world, and they relish it. We've had the opportunity to go down to Arizona, and the Zona Zoo was in rare form to start the game, and then our guys went out and just jumped out to a big lead, 35-3, and kind of quieted down that crowd, and they love playing in these environments. So we're excited with this type of competitors. Even though we're a youthful team, they understand what they have to do, and it's all about our preparation this week during practice that will prepare us to play on Saturday.
Well, you and your coaching staff have to like what you've seen from your team so far, how they've responded each week, regardless of the circumstances or whatever they've been put in. They're responding very, very well this year.
They are, and that's the true test of a great football team is when you get put in adverse situations, how do you react? And I think our guys have done a great job of it, and will continue to do a great job of it, and we need to continue to build. We still have a lot of things we need to clean up. We're by far from a perfect football team right now, but we got guys that will compete and play very hard, and when you do that, you have a shot every Saturday.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks again for joining us here, and Jerry, back to you at the cooler.